Join me. Together we can rule the galaxy far and sound.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
There, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Robo Princesses. This is Todd Hoffman and Trent Hoffman. Listen to Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 198. Today, we'll be looking at the third episode of Skeleton Crew. As we look at, it's called, let me see, it's a longer title, very interesting as an astrogation problem. So very interesting as an astrogation problem. It's the third episode. It debuted on December 10th. Runtime 49 minutes, and the director is David Lowery. Writers are Christopher Ford and John Watts. Again, settings around 9 years after the Battle of Yavin, and we got our prison break episode. So last week we talked through they had the little kind of the Pirates of the Caribbean nod to get the little rat guy that lives in SM-333's head to get the keys, and it was a little homage to them trying to do that with the dog in Pirates of the Caribbean, not only the ride, but also obviously in the film that happened. So now basically this ends up with really this episode is about, we have kind of a prison break. We have a little family conference here and at Attin. There's a rescue. We go to a new planet, and we get to see a new character, all this fun stuff. And so, we're going to hear from Lil T in just a little bit on our gut reaction. But really, some of the things that we didn't talk about in that I just want to bring up now is that there is a lot of tie-ins. The one thing that is interesting is we get the prison break, and so we get to see Jude Law's character. I always forget his name. It's like it's Jad Nawood. It just rolls off the tongue. But essentially, we see him kind of do. He does a Jedi trick like Obi-Wan, where there's a noise distraction to get KB kind of over to the other side. But then we also see him like do some pirate stuff. So we get right away, like, there can't be totally trusted. But essentially we have a prison break from where they're at in the brig. And we get to see an Ishi Tib, which is so great. And he's voiced by the guy that played Spider-Man or Doc Ock in Spider-Man. I think that's his name. I think that's the guy. But the kids are still kind of debating on, like, okay, is he a Jedi? Is he not? He's kind of laying it in, but basically we get to see a cute little reaction that KB actually finds kind of like an interrogation droid and spots that before that, maybe even KB has the Force, and that's what is so funny that, electronic stuff, sometimes the Force doesn't quite work. So they get to the ship, they understand, and then they're like, what about our droid? And so SM-33, so now they have to go back and essentially try to capture this. And so this is really cool. We get to see a bunch of different droids. We get to see a CZ series, which is essentially, that is the goofy looking eye droid in Return of the Jedi. When C-3PO, they have the same kind of arm motion there, and C-3PO scared. we get to see RA7 protocol droid who's searching for a prince, and the Trent and I just were busting a gut on this one. He powers up a B1 battle droid, and the battle droid asks if they won. Did we win? If we won the Clone Wars before his head falls off. It's so great. He's like, did we win? We were dying. We thought that was so cool. So anyways, he gets SM-33. Then there's an Ishi Tib. Love some Ishi Tib. And this guy is talking about, kind of just has this kind of cool vibe about like, hey, kind of interesting that you're released. And right before, you're supposed to go on trial for Brutus. And he kind of puts the little connection like, hey, this wouldn't have to. Jod mentions like, hey, I got a big score. And Brutus, or the Ishi Tip guy's like, hey, this doesn't have to do with those kids. You might. So there's another flurry where he's basically Jod is taking his little ferry over and getting all tied up, and then basically there's essentially they are tethered to a fuel line, and so Jod is trying to get free, the Onyx Cinder free of that, and so he kind of tangles everything up. And there's this really cool moment where he breaks free from using hyperspace, and the fuel line kind of comes back and basically wreaks havoc on the port of Borgo Prime. And Brutus is mad. I love Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I love him so much. And he's like, rawr! I just love him. So now they travel to and they travel to this planet, which they have some cool visuals. But it's kind of like a moon, like a classic moon looking, and we get to see, which I totally did not see until later on the poster. But there's like an owl thing, and this is what we get to meet: an owl character called Kim. But she uses, so Jod says he uses his old friend, and so anyways, they have this kind of magical thing, but she mentions Crismon Jack, which is a deep cut for a Marvel comic, a Star Wars comic. And Crismon Jack was featured in a Han Solo fight, and he's a pirate, which is kind of a deep cut there. So now we have Captain Silvo, Jod, and now Crismon Jack. They're all the same person, and it's kind of interesting. We don't know. I love the mystery of Jod, and then I love the mystery of At Attin and what makes it special. So Kim's trying to basically says, "Hey, this is Uncharted, and tell me a little bit more about the barrier and what that is." And then Kim kind of crosses Jod and calls in the New Republic, and we got 2 X-wings. Kids go on a little firefight, and bam, bam, bam. And it's interesting that. Essentially, Kim talks to KB and says, hey, if you ever need help, just let me know. And they take off into hyperspace and kind of kick up some dust and get the X-Wings. And the kids are firing at them. We get to see the Onyx and some gunner stuff, which is so cool. I love this whole little visual treat, and it's pretty awesome. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to tell you right now, it did not nosedive like the Acolyte did in episode 3. We're a little concerned there. Episode 3 was a little sketch, but turned out really, really well. And so now we're going to listen to what Trent and I thought real quick on all this stuff. Here we go. Big T, little T. What's up, dude?
What's up, dude?
Skeleton Crew. What'd you think?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was decent. It was pretty good for the third episode.
Third episode. Like to see it on the big screen, but
yeah,
it was still cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
What was the instrument they used in the music?
Theremin.
The theremin. There was like that, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that was like some guy invented like the 1930s, 40s.
How are you so smart?
Don't know.
So where we're at with Jude Law's character?
Yeah, he's okay. So
do you think he's
Depends. It's
He's
like,
got a different name. It was like Captain Jack, or what was his name? Like it wasn't Captain Jack. It was like
something Jack.
something Jack, Space Pirate Jack, or Captain Jack Sparrow.
You do know me though.
So, because like SM-33, he's like, I don't trust you, you know.
Yeah, the robot. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where I stand with him.
it's an in between.
It's an in between thing. Yeah, it's in between.
It's like, yeah, I like you, but I don't.
Yes. So we had a little prison break. Got to see Brutus the Barber Beefcake again. That was awesome. That was a couple more Jawas.
Yeah.
Couple more guys smoking the pipe.
Ooh.
Ooh. But then we get to we meet Owl Lady, or whatever her name is.
And she
was kind of cool.
She was cool, but it was
kind of like a map book person, and so we kind of find out that their planet is definitely hidden. So we still don't know why. And they didn't know about the war. They didn't know about Alderaan blowing up. They didn't know nothing. So how did they get there in the first place? How did they get there in the first place?
Or what about the dad? You know how the dad was thinking at the couch?
Yeah. Right, he was. He was like,
Yes.
He knows something. What do they call the guy? The overseer or the...
Something.
Like, we need... Because the robot's like, calm down, guys. It's like, okay, and stuff.
No, because you can't go past, like, the barrier.
The barrier, but they did. But who's, like, the overlord or, I don't know, the great...
No, I just imagine it's, like, this little guy. like Lord Farquaad.
You're gonna make me choke, man.
It's
Lord Farquaad.
Just a small little guy.
Yeah, he's just
like
small.
3 foot.
He's like, I am the supreme overlord.
He's 2'5". No, he's 2'5", 3 foot sideways.
Oh my God. He's like a mini Jabba. Oh my gosh. Well, I definitely, there's definitely more we just don't know, because they have Old Republic credits.
And they're like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, but it's like, no, you haven't seen this in a long time. So she mentioned there was some rumors about some hidden planets. So very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And we just picked up Indy. We just start playing that. That was super fun, dude.
Loved it.
Loved it. Loving it.
Yeah.
Loving it. Okay, what do you want from next week for Skeleton Crew?
They already filmed it, so...
Yeah, but what do you want to see?
I just want to see how, what's it called? How the crew's gonna, like, kind of form.
Mm-hmm.
Not just argue all the time, or, like...
Mm-hmm.
I'm still curious about the plan. Like the teachers haven't said anything. Hey, they've been absent, or like the...
Yes.
Like some...
And why do they...
Small person. Little person. I don't want to, like... Small person.
Well, and then why do they want them to do this school testing thing to get them... Why do they want to be accountants? You're like, that doesn't make... I want to be an accountant when I grow up. That just doesn't seem right.
Like, everybody at least has, like, one job. It's like...
Yeah, yeah.
But why can you not do pod racing very fast, very dangerous?
Pod racing's a good profession. Got to see some gunners again in the ship, which was cool.
Yeah,
so.
I would have probably been a better gunner, but besides that...
You would have took out some X-Wings for sure, so... All right, well...
So when you do it, you kind of have to line up and do...
Yeah.
You guys do... Like in the TIE Fighter, you have to line up. Dun, dun.
Right. How many T's would you give this?
8.
8 T's? Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, it was solid. It was a solid.
It was pretty good.
I can listen to Brutus talk all day. He's like... "Rawr, rawr." I love him. So, all right.
But I'm wondering for Neil's mask. I know it's a mask, but like...
Interesting, yes. We were talking about that. Like, I think it's real.
I know it's real.
I think it's real with some, like, CGI, like, a little bit.
Do you know, I heard, Prey, the new Predator?
Yes.
Do you know that when he had to look forward, his neck had to be fully down to look straight. But the whole head, I think it was like 11 pounds on his head. and it was all like, man, it's all like actually controlled.
Yeah, they don't. You know, we all sacrifice things to look cool, so you know that as a stormtrooper and a Jawa, you know what I'm saying?
I can do sweat, and that is perfect. I just can't do visibility.
Okay, well, we'll work on that. So, anyways, Big T, Little T, ATs. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, there you have it. Trent really enjoyed it. We had a really, really good time, like I said, with this episode. It's always fun when you get new Star Wars, and it's always fun when the episodes are really, really entertaining and fun. We're in a special time, guys. It's good to be thankful for some of this stuff. I mean, yes, we're gonna have some bad and some good, and this is pretty good stuff so far. Deep cuts. We got to see a lot of nods to older stuff, which is nice. Like I said, we have the kind of Marvel comic, and then that kind of Dark Crystal vibe with Kim. I believe that crazy creepy lady with the moons and stuff. Ughara, am I saying that right? I don't know. She was puppeted by Frank Oz. There's a Yoda connection there. Really cool character, but like a seeing eye in the story of Dark Crystal, and kind of get the same kind of vibe with that with Kim, which is super, super cool. So love the visuals, love the direction this is going. Again, my only complaint, they're just too short. So there you have it. Okay, so our light up all section, super simple. What's your favorite thing about episode 3 for Skeleton Crew? So please email us at bigtlittlepodcast@gmail.com. And there you have it. Thank you, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princesses, for listening to another episode of Big T, Little T, episode 198 in the books. You can find us on the socials, Big T, Little T Podcasts on Instagram, BILT Podcasts on Twitter /X, and twitch.tv/Big T, Little T. We're trying to stream and do all that fun stuff. We just we mentioned it in our reaction video or reaction soundbite there that we just picked up Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and so we'll be playing that. Hopefully we'll stream that soon. Hey, you know what? We are getting close to episode 200, and we want to hear from you. So if you got, if you want to send us a voice memo, or like you want to just write out this dissertation of how awesome we are, we would love to read a couple celebratory things for our episode 200. You can email us at bigtlittlepodcast@gmail.com, and if you do that, we'll send swag. We got stickers and fun stuff to send to you. Also, if you can rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, wherever you get your fine podcasts, and just give us a rating, that helps with just getting recognition and all that fun stuff. Next week, probably some more Skeleton Crew. We got something planned for 200, so working on that, which we're super excited for. But remember, truly wonderful the mind of the child is, and may the Force be with you always. Bye, 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 bye.